What you would do, climate change and its impact on agriculture. I'm a decision maker at my area's local agriculture committee that hears proposals developed by the United States Department of Agriculture to combat climate change. So far, data shows that regions with the best climates for a particular type of plants are shifting upwards in the United States about 150 miles over the past 25 years. I'm faced with two policy choices. One, USDA recommends waiting 5 years to see if climate change has a significant negative impact on agriculture. They argue that they need more evidence to show that farmers are in need of new funding and to adapt to the current rate of climate change. The cons of this policy would be if climate change does impact agriculture, farmers would lose income, pests would increase, and pesticides would be needed more than ever. Also, changing rain patterns could cause droughts, floods, or failure of crops. Second policy is that we follow the outside researchers' recommendations to find ways to prepare for long-term variations in regional climate patterns. So, we would start the funding right now, start change right now, and, develop other opportunities for changing temperature patterns. The con of this is that there's no guarantee of decrease of severe crop losses for farmers, but this could provide additional data and options. And also another con would be that it would be a waste of money if there's no significant crop losses in the last 5 years. So for the first decision, I decided to go with policy two, to follow the outside researchers' recommendations to start now, because even though there's no, let's say there's no severe crop losses in these 5 years, we would be developing research and data for future outcomes down the line. So I feel like getting data, regardless if we are gonna fund the farmers or not, would be beneficial no matter what. So I think I wanted to go with number two. The farmers were really happy about the decision, but they were kind of iffy on the initial plan for addressing temperature shifts that would require them to adjust established planting times and pest control practices. So I was faced again with two other options. One, fund adjustment of planting times to adapt to climate changes and provide free access to sophisticated weather monitoring equipment to support changes. This could, or also financial loss offsets related to adjusting the planting seasons. So these offsets would cover an increased need for pest control and any additional labor needed for harvesting. Option two would be fund collaborations between farmers and researchers to develop genetically modified crops adapted to climate change. While the farmers that don't do this would have to label their crops as made with GMOs. So I decided to go with option one because it seemed like a quicker solution to implement instead of genetically modified crops. I have a feeling that, I feel like if we start something right away, change, and kind of hinder the damages caused by climate change, we can develop more options and opportunities to combat climate change. I remember reading in chapter 11, section 4 of our textbook, Environmental Science and Sustainability by Sherman and Montgomery. It talked about wildfires in Texas, and that wildfires in 2011 alone caused $8 billion of agricultural losses and $5 billion in direct damage in that year. So I feel like if we can get the weather monitoring gear right away, we can limit those damages and maybe develop modified plants or genetically modified plants for another option for combating climate change. But yeah, that was what you would do.